ahead, Bill. Alright, fuck it then. Hi, I'm Sergio. This is Bill and Nathan, and this is Ankle Pickers. We have a really interesting topic today about fighting games, of course, because that's all we like to play.
It's not all we like to play.
Most of the time,
we play. Yeah, it's a large portion. The
80%.
last game I was playing was actually Shadow of Mordor, so you can eat it.
Well, you can eat it. I'm not eating shit.
So we can play other things, but that's what we tend to play.
80% of the time,
Well, when we hang out together, that's what we play fighting games.
We like the competitive.
So, it's kind of hard to play an RPG.
Well, you can play a co-op if you want. Anyway, our topic for today is what we like to call DLC debacles. Now, mind you, this is something that's becoming more common with modern gaming in general, but
microtransactions.
Yeah, but there's a whole topic in and of itself. But since we play a lot of fighting games, we're noticing a lot in fighting games, and in particular, how some games are freakishly expensive with their DLC, assuming you want everything in the game.
And it didn't used to be that way. I mean, back in the day, let's go back to like PS2 era. Remember the PS2 era?
Well, that was before the days of DLC.
Exactly, but still, it's a good way to compare it. You would go...
Okay, I take it back. The Xbox had DLC.
You would go and you would walk into your EB Games or your GameStop or KB Toys or Walmarts and you buy your fucking game.
Half of those places are gone.
Can you shut the fuck up for a minute? And then you go and you pop in. You would go, you'd buy the fucking game and put it in and you play it and you unlock everything in it. And that's the way it worked. And you were happy and...
It was there already.
It was all in the disc, to put it that way. It seemed like in the last generation, it started to take off on the way they handle DLC, especially from publishers like Capcom and
Cashcom.
Cashcom. Who are the people that make DOA?
That's Namco. No, Tecmo. Tecmo. I get Tecmo and Namco mixed up for some odd reason.
Not only those, but every other publisher in general are like putting games.
EA Games is notorious for it.
Just half-ass games out there, and they say, "Fuck it, we'll fix it later with patches."
Because we can.
So, the main crux of what we wanted to talk about in this episode is we've made a list of 5 fighting games, and that we're going to talk about their DLC. Some of them have done terrible. Some of them have an insane amount of DLC that requires a lot of money, and then a couple of them are actually much better in how they handle DLC. And we kind of wanted to set it up so we talk about it from worst to best. The problem is that the more we talked about this before we started filming, we weren't quite sure where to put these first 2, because the first 2 we were going to talk about were Street Fighter V and DOA 5 Last Round. The problem is that we can't figure out which one is better than the other, because...
We need to flip a coin.
Almost, because on one hand you have Street Fighter V that is offering very few bundles with its DLC, and they've already produced a fair amount of DLC for it. And it's like, we found an article, did the math, and it's like, what, $140, excluding the special Halloween DLC?
It is $143, yeah.
Yeah, excluding the Halloween DLC, which would probably take it up to about $160, I think.
It's $143, or 60,680 online rank matches.
Well, that's assuming you only get fight money during the rank matches. There are other ways to get fight money, but that's beside the point. But then you have DOA 5 Last Round, that if you get the 6, there are 6 season passes for this thing. Just if you get the 6 season passes, it was it $578?
It's $558 or something like that.
Yeah, almost $600 for all the DLC. So, like I said, we kind of have to flip a coin on that one.
Let's
at least
rock,
DOA
paper,
5.
scissors, Bill.
Sure, man.
Okay, so we talking about Street Fighter V first?
Street Fighter V first, because that game can suck my ass. No, not really. I mean, see, the problem that I have with that game is that I like the way it looks and I like the gameplay for it. I think it's fantastic. But when it comes to content and anything else, it just kind of falls flat.
The biggest problem that Street Fighter V had, and I will admit, you were accusing me for months about being this Street Fighter V apologist.
You were the Street Fighter V
I know.
lawyer.
I was an
Capcom lawyer.
I was an apologist for the game.
No,
But
why do you guys hate it
I
so
get it because
much?
it is. I'm at the point now where I can't defend everything that they do.
Could defend half of what the fuck are you talking
The biggest problem the game has is that Capcom released it way too early. I kind of wonder if they thought they could do what Microsoft did with Killer Instinct, but it didn't quite work out. And I think part of it was the marketing on that.
See, part of it was the marketing, and the big part was that they wanted that shit out for the Pro Tour, which I just found out that people in the fighting community love the fucking game. They signed up, they had over, I think it was, I don't know, 1,000 to 2,000 people sign up for the fucking game or the content, and over $100,000 in cash prize money. So it just came down to Capcom saying, fuck it, let's go for the tournament players because they know that they're set audience, but at the same time, the sales fell flat on their ass with like 2 million copies sold in 2015 over Mortal Kombat that sold over 5 million.
Yeah, but that's because Mortal Kombat worried about the casuals and the pros, whereas Capcom said, fuck it, I'm not worried about the pros.
They cater at both, and that's the way it should have been.
But that has been the problem, is that Capcom has had to continually add content to the game over the, it's been out for about 8 months now.
Almost a year.
About 8 months.
Almost a year.
Now, some of it has been free. Like they added a story mode that was free. The patches have all been free.
Not free though. It's not. It should have been there. It's not free.
But at least they didn't charge you for it.
Yeah.
Well, they already charged me for $60 for a game.
Yeah, for the game. Now, the biggest problem that they've been with it though is that they have not been offering. They've offered very few bundles with this. And I think people would be more accepting of all the content that's being produced for it if there were more bundles. At the moment, there's really only two: the Season Pass and the Capcom Pro Tour pack, which does get you a lot of stuff. So I think, and I've been holding out on most of the DLC because I've been anticipating that there would be bundles, because that's what Capcom has done in the past.
I think they're so money hungry that they're just like.
I don't think they will, because most things normally when stuff like that comes out, normally you get all the separate crap, and then later on they give you a bundle then,
We need
and they
to
haven't
get
fucking
as
did
much
that game
money.
at all.
We need to get as much money as we lost as we can right now.
Well, Capcom in general has been struggling financially.
I mean, because like then this game right here came over and it just like fucked it bad on sales. A Wii U game fucked it on sales.
Yeah, but it's Pokemon.
Yeah, but
It
the
has a
content
broader audience.
of it. Really?
Yes.
I don't know. Because this game also offered $100,000 in prize money and has a whole new community for it on the Evo or whatever you want to call it.
That was their first game,
And
but anyway.
this is okay. Well, you have Nintendo, and you have Pokemon involved, and then you have fucking what are the people that make Tekken?
Namco.
Namco.
Yeah.
You have Namco that knows how to make fighting games, and then you have Pokemon, and you mix those together, and you're gonna have something awesome. I kind of like this one, but it also has DLC. It also has DLC, so it's not all there. To keep that in mind, you have to pay for a couple of the characters that are coming out.
It's still probably cheaper than this thing
Well,
here,
yeah,
though.
it's cheaper. I'm just saying that even as good as a game gets, there's always flaws, you know?
The thing of it is, keep in mind, and there have been. I don't know how much. I don't remember how much the characters are individually in this, but there are still fighting games that have more expensive DLC characters. We'll get to Killer Instinct a little bit later, but at one point, if you want a Shadow Jago, he was $10.
Yeah, but
and then and Guilty Gear, the characters are what, $7 a piece?
well, here's the
Yeah,
thing.
but they also gave you a bunch of colors and shit by default.
Here's the thing. Street Fighter V has the characters for $6 a piece.
Okay.
So you want to buy Juri. You don't want to buy Urine.
Urian.
You don't want to buy Urian or the other guys. You just say, I'm a big Juri fan, so I'm going to buy her. So you spend your $6 on PlayStation Network. And you jump on training mode and shit. Well, if you want a character for Killer Instinct, it was $4.99. They gave you the alternate costume and colors and accessories so you can put on the costumes.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the Killer Instinct is a little bit later. Let's move on then to DOA 5. The one of us who has played it the most is definitely Bill.
Bill, talk about DOA 5.
What about it? Yeah, there's 6 season passes, and it comes up to $538, but that's giving like half.
38. It keeps going down.
That's well. That's,
I want to hear
it's
your
78.
explanation. I want to hear your explanation of why this is worth buying.
the game itself's rather cheap. It's only like $40, and everybody gets.
When it came out, it was $40. When it was brand new on the shelf.
The PS3 copy of it ended up being just a free download patch. The PS4 copy, I think, was $60.
Okay, so $60 you bought the, let's just say you bought it for $60. And then you played the game, it had arcade mode, it had story mode.
Yeah, it had all that stuff.
What other modes are in there?
There's time attack, there's survival.
So you have your bare bones for fighting games. Fighting game stuff.
The minimum.
There's a watch mode.
That's not the minimum. That's every fighting
that's
game
all
comes
the
with
that's all the basic stuff.
Yeah, the basics. So
Yeah, that's a better way to put it.
So you have your basics, and then, well, the whole idea of DLC is extra content after you get the game. So you're like, oh, I really like this, so I'm gonna buy it. So you buy costumes, right?
Yeah, there's costumes. Sometimes there's extra stages. Sometimes there's extra characters. Since 5 last round got released, they gave us 2 other characters. Mind you, those characters by themselves are only like $4 or $5, and that's giving them 2 costumes from the get-go. You know, all access to all their moves and so on. So in that regard, pretty cheap compared to some other games.
I guess it all depends on how good you, like how bad you want the stuff and how.
Yeah, because we looked up what kinds of costumes that you get with this thing, and
There's some
DOA is continuing the tradition of treating their characters like computer-generated dolls.
They have
the costumes don't fit the characters; they fit fetishes.
They have bedtime story, Tina, schoolgirl Tina, nymphomaniac, sex addict Tina.
That's actually not a costume, but anyway.
I don't know, Bill. I don't know. I'm just picturing you buying these at the middle of the night with the lights turned off, going, yes.
And shaking the controller. Remember, you're
Shaking the boobs.
That's only on the one setting that has to be the highest.
But the fact that there's still that much content for a fighting game, I can't think of too many games in general that offer $600 worth of content.
Yeah, actually, I've heard of a kid spending over $6,000 in FIFA. I think it was $6,000 or $15,000. You guys keep talking. I'm gonna look it up.
That game must be the king of microtransactions, because that's the only thing that would make sense.
These sport games, you can make your own teams, right, Giovanni?
Yeah.
You can make your own teams, and you can like buy little things to put on the team.
Oh yeah, so the point is, okay, yeah, all that stuff for DOA is expensive as crap, but that's giving like all the women about 80 costumes. Go find another fighting game that'll give you that many
Oh,
costumes.
here it is. Here it is. I got 17-year-old uses his dad's credit card to spend $7,600 playing FIFA.
Is it a console game or is it a mobile game?
It's on Xbox. It's on
Oh my
Xbox
gosh.
One and PS4. Yep.
Oh, there must be microtransactions.
There's definitely microtransactions.
Because there's no way that it could have a set number of, amount of content.
So as bad as we're getting it on fighting games,
That game's worse.
it's really
Well, that's
not.
because of microtransactions. Microtransactions are the bane of gaming, as far as
They're
I can. They
evil.
should have been left on mobile games, because the mobile games, that makes sense, because they make the game free to play, and they got to make up the money somewhere.
You guys remember, Street Fighter Cross Tekken, the gem system?
Those weren't microtransactions. There was a set number of those things to download, and a lot of them were free.
You could still buy them.
Yeah, I know.
Good, I bought some of them, yeah.
You could still buy them, though, so they were...
Yeah, but there was still a set number of them. It's not like you use this gem, you get this gem, you can only use it 5 times, you have to buy more.
Yeah, you don't gotta buy more of it.
It was there. As soon as you bought it, it was done. You had it.
True. Even a great game like Mortal Kombat that's sold over 5 billion copies and is probably the best fighting game of last year and part of this year had microtransactions. They had easy fatalities that you could buy.
Yeah.
or $1.
And the what was it? They let you round skip or something.
Oh yes,
like
and
that.
they had the free round skip thing.
Yeah, which actually is a nice transition. Let's go from DOA to Mortal Kombat. When Mortal Kombat X was first released, it had microtransactions. If you didn't pre-order the game, if you pre-ordered the game, you got Goro day one. But if you didn't, you had to pay for him, and he was on the disc already.
If you pre-ordered the game, you would get you would get Goro. I don't know if he was in the game. Was he already in?
According to Angry Joe, he was on disc.
Okay, so the thing with NetherRealms is that they partnered with other. I'm gonna be the Mortal Kombat judge now, or the lawyer defending it. So there were a lot of developers involved, and one of them is responsible for these microtransactions in the game. It's not necessarily NetherRealms or how they handle it. So a lot of people think, oh fuck, the dollar fatalities are unlocking everything in the crypt. Fuck you, NetherRealms. It's not their fault. It's the other developers that are doing this. And luckily for them, they can't just make a giant game like that on their own. They need other, developers to come in and do things for them. And that's it's not like Capcom, where Capcom is doing their game all by themselves and they're responsible for everything they fuck up.
Mm-hmm. The thing that ended up helping MKX though was, depending on how you feel about it, because this is a big trend in gaming, although I think it's starting to taper off now, and that was doing these Game of the Year editions. They give you all or most of the DLC, but it's something that gets released about a year after the base game is already out.
We caught onto this. We started with MK9, so we remember when MK9 came out, we were all playing it. But it comes down to this. MK9 came out, we enjoyed it, we got the season pass, the DLC, a couple of the free costumes that they gave us, played it online, it was a blast, and then MK9 Complete Edition with a K came out, and it was everything in the disc, which is fantastic. Injustice came out. We bought that.
I bought that day one. I got the big bad special edition.
We bought Injustice. All of us bought Injustice. We played it. We got the season pass. And
Played the hell out of it.
I bought all the DLC for that
yeah,
game.
so, and then...
You spend money for once! Hell must have froze.
And then a year later, Complete Edition again. So eventually...
Ultimate Edition or
Ultimate
Same
Edition.
bullshit difference, but anyway.
Eventually we caught on right.
Same BS, new name.
Yeah.
Eventually we caught on and it was like, alright, NetherRealms is going to keep doing this. But here's the thing though. It all comes down to how bad do you want to play the game, or if you're willing to wait a whole fucking year before you play it.
Yeah.
And we couldn't fucking wait a whole year.
Well,
You guys did. I got XL.
Well,
but,
you have people that still don't
but I
play
didn't have a PS4 when it came
They
out.
will
I
release
still
those
bought
later
that.
copies later.
I still bought the game before XL came out.
Yeah. So NetherRealms has actually have been very smart, I think, with how they've handled it. They've had to do some unfortunate things, but it sounds like it's stuff that Ed Boon and NetherRealms didn't necessarily want to do. That kind of got foisted on them.
Yeah, I mean, the way they handle the game in general, the way that it's set up so you can buy the items, there are, the unlockables, the music, the artwork, the way everything is set up is fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Except it all actually should be in the crib. Maybe that's because I don't like online as much as most.
Yeah, well, and then the thing is, like, you can set up your title card and you can be strategic of how you want to do things.
Yeah.
You want to level up your faction, or you want to unlock more stuff so you can get more coins, so you can set it.
Actually, I just realized we kind of skipped ahead a little bit. We did not talk about Killer Instinct.
No, let's talk about that.
We got Killer Instinct because we were actually rank MKX higher on the list than Killer Instinct.
We got off the fucking rail, but who
we did get off the rail. Now, the thing of it is that Killer Instinct is only lower on the list, assuming that you were one of those people who grabbed the game day one.
The thing
If you had grabbed it day one and you bought everything in the bundles, the season bundles, then it would have amounted to about $100 to get everything.
The thing with
all 3 seasons.
The thing with when Killer Instinct came out, it was, we're gonna put 8 characters out. We're gonna let you download Jago for free and let you try it, see if you like the game, and if you like it, then you can buy the rest of the characters individually, or you can buy the bundle. And it was $20 if you wanted the basic bundle, and $40 if you wanted alternate costumes for the 8 characters, and Killer Instinct Classic. So that was season 1. So that's $40. And then season 2 got announced, which was a different developer. It wasn't Iron Galaxy anymore. Oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't.
Double Helix.
Double
It was
Helix.
Iron Galaxy did
Iron
seasons
Galaxy
2 and
did
3.
Season 2 and 3. Like I said, it was $20 for the basic one, $40 for the ultimate one, if you wanted the costumes and stuff. And I think that's when they started coming with stages. I'm not sure. And then season 3 came out. It was the same thing, and this time it was $40 for the costumes and the stage, and they gave you double XP. Well, by that time, season 1 and 2 were already out. So I decided to buy this, and this was $15. And it came with season 1 and 2, and I bought this last year. And it came with an well, it was season 1, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Season 1. And it came with combo for season 2. So it was kind of like, well, here's the whole first season and a character from season 2. So maybe convince you to buy it. But now we have this. This is Killer Instinct
Definitive Edition.
Definitive Edition.
Pay
yes.
$40.
Yeah.
Oh, there.
Yeah, but and that's the thing. It's the same thing that Mortal Kombat ended up doing.
But the same point is, like, are you gonna wait?
It would have been with 3 years.
Are you gonna
Yeah.
wait 3 years and then nobody knew this was coming out? I mean, it's a great price, but at the same time,
Yeah.
it comes down to, do you want to play the game now
Yeah.
or you want to wait?
Yeah, but like I said, we're assuming that if you had gotten it, wanted to get everything starting from day 1, you would have spent $100. If
Right.
you waited until now, it's 40, and you get everything plus the soundtrack, which I don't think you would have been able to get if you had done all the other things.
No.
That's kind of the big selling point for this, is that it comes with a CD copy of the soundtrack, which is an amazing soundtrack. We all agree on that.
Right.
So again, it boils down to how badly do you want to play the game? Do you want it, or do you want to get everything?
Everybody wants
day
stuff
one.
they want. Everybody.
Yeah.
You like the game, you're gonna go buy the fucking
Well, that's the
thing.
point. That's why they do all these pre-order bonuses for shit, because they know people are gonna do it.
Yeah. They're like, oh my god, hot Ryu with a beard? I gotta go pre-order now.
It's me without a shirt. He looks like Santa Claus.
I gotta go buy the fucking game now.
Yeah, but like I said, so that's about $100 for everything. But and the thing that's helping Killer Instinct is that we know they're not going to make more content. At least we're assuming there's not going to be any more content.
There
that
might
they're
be another
done.
one. There might be
Maybe.
another one later. But
We don't
for
know.
now-
But
for
this
now,
is
that's it.
called Definitive Edition. So I'm assuming it's everything.
I do have one gripe with that thing, though. I don't really like that none of the season 3 people seem to have an actual story mode.
Yeah, well, it's not. It kind of lacks of story mode, though.
Yeah, but the other 2 seasons at least got it, yet they left like 10 people out. That
So
Final verdict.
no, we have one more that we're going to talk about now. Admittedly, this could change because they haven't made a game on a next gen system yet, and that's the Tekken series.
Ooh.
Because
Tekken 7 is coming out.
Yeah,
next
Tekken 7
January.
is coming, and but with both Tekken 6 and Tekken Tag 2, particularly Tekken Tag 2, because this is when they came out and said this, because people were wondering if there was going to be DLC for the game, and the developers at Namco said, we don't like DLC.
Which is amazing.
We don't like DLC, so anything that we put out, any extra things, new characters or whatever, they're just going to be free updates. We're not going to charge you for it. Now,
I wish
so
every
they just
developer
flat out said
would do
we aren't going to do that. We're not playing that game. But that was on 6, and that was on Tekken Tag 2, which were PS3 games. I don't know what's going to happen with Tekken 7, so this may end up proving to be this may end up proving to be untrue once Tekken 7 comes out. Now
Again, it might be if it's just Namco. Is it Namco?
It's Namco.
If it's just Namco making the game and they've done it like that before, I don't see it changing unless another developer comes in, or they just don't give a fuck and they want money. Then it's gonna change. Like MK9 didn't have any microtransactions because it was by
Well,
Warner
Tekken Tag
Brothers.
Tournament 2 did have a bunch, but it was to give you endings for the other games.
Yeah, see, and that's the thing. There is technically paid DLC for Tekken Tag 2, but it's nothing that even that involves
It's not
the
ridiculous.
gameplay or the aesthetics of the characters or anything like that. You don't pay for extra costumes.
Colors.
You don't pay for new characters. It's just like, do you want music from the previous games. Here's
all the like one of the things was pretty much all the endings from all the prior games.
Yeah, and you can spend money on that. It's
God.
It's stuff that's totally
the history. Then you have the history. You have the whole history worth of the entire game. Where you're trying to write one game.
It's stuff that is totally optional that you don't really doesn't even really pertain to Tekken Tag 2 itself. Now, mind you, stuff like costumes and such are kind of optional too, but it's stuff that still pertains to the game. So this is completely superfluous stuff that if you don't want it, you don't have to buy it, and that's how Namco seems to like to operate.
I wish every game developer was like that. Filthy fucks.
At the moment, I would argue that in terms of the fighting games that are out there, at least out of the major fighting games, the smaller stuff like Skullgirls, it also has DLC, but they probably manage it a bit differently.
They manage it wonderfully.
Yeah, most of those things for the characters, if you already had the game, like for the first week, half the time those characters were all free.
By the way, they already have pre-orders for the second game, second Encore coming out. You can get a physical copy with a soundtrack for $40. So I don't think you can beat that.
No, I wouldn't. You probably can't. But I'm just saying, at the moment, I would argue Namco, at least in terms of fighting games, is the one who's managing their DLC best.
I'd say Nintendo, Smash Brothers, also kinda.
But with Smash Brothers, you're still paying for the extra characters and all the other content.
True, but they're
Namco just says no. Every time we add a character, free update.
Yeah, you're not gonna beat that.
I mean, yeah, you're not. But like I said, that can change with Tekken 7. I don't know what's going on with Tekken 7.
I don't see it changing, but we will see.
Hopefully not. Probably gamers' sake anyway.
Yeah. So I would say that the big lesson to learn from all of this is, well, a couple of them. One, decide how badly you want the game and if you want to get it day one, because if you're going to get it day one, you're probably going to end up spending a little bit more money in the long run.
That's the way it is now.
Yeah. And then two, just unless you're a completionist, which unfortunately most of us here kind of are.
Don't even get me started on that, but anyway.
Yeah. And you want to have all the content, it would probably be best for you to look over what DLC is available and decide what is most worthwhile to you. What stuff do you want to invest the money in and actually have? If you don't want every DLC character, don't buy every DLC character. If you don't want the costumes for everybody, don't buy the costumes for everybody.
Yeah. It really comes
down to managing your money so that you don't do what this one dumb 17-year-old did and spend $7,600 on FIFA. You don't necessarily have to play the game that the developers are trying to play.
Because if we keep doing this, they're just gonna keep fucking doing it, and it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse.
Well, it's just a freaking big deadly ring anyway, because if you don't buy the DLC, then they won't give you any extra content with crap. But then if you do buy it, then it's just going to keep costing you money, and they don't. Yeah. So it's just...
Yeah, it is a bit of a catch-22, because my understanding is that one of the things about game prices, why DLC exists, is while inflation has affected just about everything else, video game prices have remained relatively stable for probably about 15-20 years.
Except when you fucking buy the DLC.
That's the point. So you're still spending the same amount of money when you go to a store and buy it, and they have to make up the cost somewhere.
I'm sorry, but Street Fighter V did not make up for the cost of it. I paid $80 for the special edition that came with a plastic statue, an art book, and half a soundtrack. No, inflation my ass. That's just fucking lazy.
Well, I'm not excluding that. The concept of it is that's where you're making up making up the money.
We can bitch about Street Fighter V all day, and it's not gonna change anything because the game still fucking sucks. But I like to play it.
Well, the way I look at it is that Street Fighter V is a great game, but is not the best product.
There's still an empty void when we play Versus.
Like I said, I made the distinction. Great game, not the best product.
Yes.
That's two different things. A game is the actual mechanics and the aesthetics and all of that, what makes it a game. A product is what it is, how it awards you with content and how it manages, the things that are outside of the gameplay and the aesthetics.
The mechanics were fantastic. I like playing it, but when it comes down to, like Nathan said, a whole product is
Well, and that could be said about a lot of games. It could probably be said about DOA 5, and mind you, whenever I play DOA 5, I just get frustrated with DOA 5.
to each his own.
But
Anyways, we've been fucking talking way too long.
we've laid it all out there. If you guys want to leave us comments and talk a little bit about this in the comments.
What are
that'd be
your
great.
thoughts on bullshit DLC? And why do you fucking hate us, Capcom? Why?
All right. Well, this is Nate
Bill.
Sergio.
signing off.
It's stupid.
We're gonna throw you back in the basement if you don't like people then, Bill. And leave you there for another 20
Okay.
minutes.
Basement? You live in a trailer. They don't goddamn basement. There might be some coons out there. There's some possums.
We'll bury you somewhere.
Okay.
Maybe it's Saber Wolf's cousin. I don't fucking know.
Saber Wolf has a raccoon cousin?
Yeah, it's Rocket Raccoon. Did you know?
That must be an interesting family reunion.